Well, welcome everyone. I'm Christa Hurchalla, the Director of Strategic Partnerships with Delegate Solutions, and we are a premium virtual assistance firm. And I'm so excited to be chatting with our friend Kristie Clayton today on the topic of the power and impact of peer groups. And just to share a little bit of information about Kristie, she's the integrator for BCR Wealth, which is a wealth management firm in Birmingham, Alabama. And she is also the founder of FIM, which, if you are not aware, stands for Female Integrator Mastermind. And they are a wonderful international peer coaching and mentoring platform for female integrators. And I want to just thank you so much, Kristie, for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, I'm excited about the conversation, and I think maybe a good place to start, because we may have some folks watching this who maybe aren't familiar with the term integrator, which, you know, in terms of EOS run companies, like where they fit in. And so I thought maybe if you could just give a little bit of foundational information on that, and then we'll jump into our peer groups topic.
Awesome. So an integrator is most commonly the titles that are used outside of EOS is a president, COO, general manager, chief of staff, something along that nature. And basically it is the second in charge. And what I've heard several people describe it as, it's the glue that holds everything together. And so the 5 essential roles are, you know, leading, managing, and holding the team accountable, you know, executes the business plan, is responsible for the P&L, removes any obstacles and barriers, and is the tiebreaker if that's ever needed. So what does that all mean? The way that I love to explain it is that I'm very passionate about working with my visionary and gathering from him all of the things that he wants to do with the company, the ideas that he has, and then turning it over to me. And then it's my responsibility to determine, do we have all of the resources that we need to be able to do this? Do we have the manpower? Do we have the capacity? Do we have the funds to be able to do this? And then putting the plan together to actually make it happen.
That's amazing, and all the things you just said, I just think you're wearing so many different hats, and juggling a lot of different balls, but really, as you said, really bringing it all together in terms of what you're trying to accomplish at the company and what your visionary is really looking at in terms of trying to accomplish. So thank you for giving us that foundational information. And yeah, let's dive into our topic. But before we talk specifically about the impact and importance of peer groups, I have a question for you, and that is, you know, who or what inspires you?
Yeah, so, you know, my EOS story starts when I found BCR Wealth, and, you know, I was sitting on the couch, and one of the things that really has given me an identity or really inspired me to grow and develop into an integrator was actually reading the book Traction by Gino Wickman. And, you know, sitting on the couch on a Saturday, I couldn't put the book down, and I'm just reading and reading and reading. And then I get to this spot that talks about an integrator and all the responsibilities it has and the traits of this person, and tears just start flowing down my face, because I finally realized I have an identity. I am this integrator person. This is who I am just naturally. So that was really helpful for me, and really just kind of knowing and finding who I am as a person. And then probably my biggest inspiration as far as a person who inspires me is my grandmother. She was a woman who grew up in, you know, the 50s and 60s, where women didn't necessarily have the opportunities that we have today, or at least it was a little more challenging for them. And in addition to also just being a woman, she was a woman with a disability. She was completely deaf. She doesn't hear anything. And she opened doors and was really a pioneer for both women and people with a disability in that time. And it really it inspires me to make sure that I'm doing the best that I possibly can and opening doors and kind of moving that legacy along. So she was a really huge inspiration for me.
She sounds like an amazing woman, and just the epitome of strength to be able to overcome those kinds of obstacles, and certainly an inspiration. So thank you for sharing that story. Yeah. So let's jump in with FIM. So you founded Female Integrator Mastermind, and you really the the passion that you have in terms of cultivating the advancement of women leaders is inspiring as well. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about sort of why that's important to you, and feel free to give kind of a little blurb if you want about FIM and some of the work you're doing.
Yeah, so FIM started off in 2016 with 5 women that just wanted to help each other. We all knew that, you know, we were EOS integrators, but we were still kind of learning and developing, like, what exactly does that mean? And you know, an integrator can oftentimes feel like you're on an island kind of by yourself. And so to be able to network with other women who were doing this exact same role was really profound for me, especially because I was still kind of new in this particular role. I just discovered this identity that I had, and now I was really just kind of growing and, you know, developing those professional skills. And so, you know, for FIM, obviously, we're really focused on growing and developing integrators, and that's who we are talking to each other as far as, you know, peer group. But I'm really hoping that, you know, with the passion we have to grow and advance each other, that also starts to bleed over into our teams, and that, you know, whether it's a male or female, that leaders are seeing, wow, there's something really special. This person is growing as a professional. They are personally really advancing themselves, and I want to be part of that. They're drawn to us. And then, you know, it just starts to trickle out into our communities, that we're making such a difference with each other and with our own teams, that we're bigger than just FIM, and that we're making a big impact with everything that's going on. You know, following in my grandmother's footsteps, you know, thinking about the fact that the women in the 50s and 60s, they had the courage, the bravery to put their hand on the door handle and start to turn it. And that's where we really started to see, like, women moving forward and advancing. And the fact that they were able to crack the door open just a little bit, I feel like it's our responsibility now as women leaders who have more opportunities than they did, to kind of fling that door open and say, hey, there are no more obstacles and barriers for us. We are here, and we are strong, powerful leaders, and we deserve a seat at the table as well, so that our nieces, our daughters, our granddaughters, they don't have the obstacles that we have. There is no longer a door. I recently said on another podcast that I dream of a world where we no longer have to have discussions about equality, because there's no more discussion to have. It just, we are equals. To me, that's whether we're women, colored, you know, races, religions, like, none of that is no longer a barrier, that we are just moving forward together as a society as a whole. That would be an absolute utopia, and I think it would make a profound difference in the world.
I like your dream. I love your dream. So absolutely, we all hope and wish, and not even just hope and wish, are really striving for that. And it takes work, and it takes deliberate action, right? And that's what you all are doing with your group there at FIM as well. So let's talk about peer groups, right? So we know there's huge impact and value in peer groups. And I wanted to get your perspective on this, because this is really how FIM was born, was out of a smaller peer group that now is this sort of international coaching and mentoring platform, and the impact and power of that. So definitely want to get your comments and thoughts on that.
Yeah, so I think a peer group is probably one of the most profound ways to progress in a very fast manner. You know, I could definitely sit here and read books and watch webinars and, you know, kind of grow into the role that I have, but a lot of it would probably be by trial and error. You know, I'd make some mistakes along the way, and kind of learn from those and just keep moving forward. But the power that a peer group has, especially when you kind of utilize the Gestalt principles, is when everyone is sharing from experience and not just theoretical, well, you could possibly try to do this. If everyone's sharing what they have done and accomplished, it really can make a big difference. Instead of going through a whole bunch of trial and error, I can ask a group of women, hey, this is the problem that I have, and I'm trying to solve it for my company or for me as an individual. What else have you done to kind of overcome this? And first and foremost, I think the support that comes just knowing that there's, you know, 10 or 15 women that are responding and saying, We've been there, done that too.
Not alone. You're not alone. Yeah.
I'm not alone. And so
Yeah.
I realize I'm not on this island out there by myself, but that I actually have a group of women that they've all done it too. But then even bigger than that, they're sharing how they overcame it and what they actually did. And so, there have been several times within the group and myself personally that I've been able to take a little bit from what this person said, a little bit from what this person said, and pull it all together for what works best for me and my team, and then implement it. And it works so much faster, so much easier, that I don't have to do a whole lot of trial and error. I can take and learn from their experiences and move forward.
It's like having sort of hundreds of brains versus just your brain to rely on, right? And especially in this remote and virtual world that we're in now. I mean, you've mentioned a couple times almost feeling like you're on an island, which you can feel like when you're on site for sure too. But I think especially in a virtual world, there's a risk of that, where when people don't have these peer groups and ways to connect and other ways to get feedback and perspectives and ideas, it can be very isolating, and it can be dangerous for businesses, right? Because you need all those ideas and perspectives and to be able to implement those and learn from others. So I know I do that all the time with some of the different networking groups that I'm in. We're always saying, hey, I'm stealing that idea. And that's the idea, is steal my idea, right? And use it, make it your own. So
absolutely.
That's fantastic.
The term that I like to use is, I'm going to permanently borrow your idea.
I like that. I just go right for the steal. I'm taking that and using it. Well, this has been such a great chat with you. And I know you have some really exciting things coming up. You always have exciting things coming up at FIM and the work that you're doing there. So did you want to share, I would love for you to share some information about the summit, the virtual summit, and anything else you'd like to share that you have going on right now.
Sure. So, one of our core values with FIM is that we are cultivating the advancement of women leaders, but also, that's our passion statement. But one of our core values is that we are actually there for all integrators. So we have opportunities for male and female members and non-members to join us in what we call the integrator workshops. And these are on the second Tuesday of every month from 10 to 11 Central Time. And any and all integrators can join us and just kind of learn from those that are leading those particular sessions. And then, yes, as you mentioned, we do have our FEM Women Summit coming up. It's super exciting that this is the first year we're pivoting and doing it virtual. And so we have lots of opportunities. Sue Hawks, if you have never heard of her, she is a phenomenal, powerful leader. And she is coming in and is our keynote speaker, our opening speaker. So cannot wait for her to talk about, harnessing your doubts and your self-doubts and really kind of propelling yourself forward and overcoming that. So really excited about that. We have 10 breakout sessions that we're doing with most of them are, in fact, wait a minute, they're all either led or co-led by integrators. So these are learning from your peers that are doing it. And then we're closing out the session with a very dynamic leader. Mary Pat Knight is a EQ coach who spoke at our summit last year, and she was so powerful that we brought her back again this year. She has a really strong message for integrators on how you can become an integrator using coaching methods. So it's called the Integrator as a Coach. It's going to be a phenomenal session. She was sharing some tidbits with me, and it's pretty powerful.
She's fantastic, and it sounds like a wonderful event. Everyone should go if they can, and it's November 5th, right? Right, the right date?
Correct. Yeah, November 5th.
Yeah, and I'm also so excited you mentioned the workshops that are open to all once a month. We have a fantastic male integrator at Delegate Solutions, and I know he's looking forward to participating in those and getting to know your members and certainly sharing his expertise and learning a lot. So
absolutely
glad you're doing that.
We are always meant to be inclusive, not exclusive.
Yes.
So this is our way of making sure that we're giving back to all integrators. So we're really excited about these new workshops.
Yeah, as our way. So thank you so much. And then if people want to continue the conversation, how can they reach out? What's the best way for them to do that?
Sure. So there's probably two great ways to reach out to me. The first is you can go to integratormastermind.com if you're looking to learn anything about FEM or about the summit. And then the second way is I definitely love when we can continue conversations by finding me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is just K Clayton, or if you want to look me up, it is Kristie, which is Kristie, Clayton, Clayton.
Perfect. Well, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much, Kristie, for chatting with us, and look forward to talking with you again soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Christa, for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.